What's up, guys? Fish Keeper is here with a new tank. This time I'm going with LifeGard Aquatics. I'm going to introduce you to this new tank setup that I got. I think these are actually new tanks that are just getting released by this company. So stay tuned, like and subscribe if you can, and let's get into it. So LifeGard is a company that I guess they've been making tanks for a while. I don't really know their history, but they just recently started supplying my local fish store with these really beautiful rimless, like almost floating style tank, because they actually, this is just glass. It's nice. It's like a nice look to it. It still has a mat, but because of the light travels through the glass. You can see it lights up the bottom too. So it gives it a really nice, neat look. It also gives some depth there. So, but anyways, they have these tanks that they just brought into my local fish store. They have a 1.5 gallon tank, which is pretty tiny. This one, which is a 2.5, or I think 2.75 tank. And I think they have like a 5 and then like a 7.5 or something like that. And these are all vertical tanks. I'm starting to become a big fan of vertical tanks for shrimp. I think that shrimp do a way better, they just do better as far as like breeding in tall tanks, especially if you have plants in there. I think they really like to stay in the plant matter more than they like to be on the ground. I think with most of my tanks, they spend more time grazing on plants and structure than they do just wandering around the ground on the substrate. But they will occasionally do it. So I needed a tank to replace the weird cylindrical tank that I had here on my desk. I was going to get rid of all tanks on my desk, but I spent a good month with that cylindrical, it's like a flower pot tank almost, that was glass, and I had my beta buddy in it, and I just was like, well, why am I having it? I had no light on it, and truth be told, no filter either. I was just using tons of plants and just water changes. It was doing fine, but it was just a dark area here. There was just nothing going on. It's just like an ugly tank. So I told myself, it's not even a tank, it was just some weird thing. So I told myself, why don't I just get myself a nice tank? And I was going to get a UNS, one of those new 2.0 tall tanks, or something like that. They're like nano taller tanks from UNS. But I was thinking about getting that, but the company, the fish store that I take shrimp to as like a trade-in thing that I supply shrimp for, doesn't carry UNS. They only carry ADA. They carry ADA, Waterbox, a few other brands, and those are good tanks, but none of them carry tall tanks. And I wanted to set up a tall tank here, and because I don't want to take too much space. So I like this space that I have here, because I can actually move my monitor this way if I need to, and I don't have to worry about just space, basically. So I was gonna get UNS tall tank, those little nano tanks, but the company, the local fish store that I trade my shrimp into, doesn't carry that normally. So, this weekend I went over and I took about, I forget, but it was about almost like $90 worth of shrimp. Trade-in value. I traded in, and they gave me about 90 bucks in credit, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna get. I thought I might just get some different species of Neo that I could just breed with my crystal shrimp, and that was gonna work out, but they were low on shrimp. That's why they took my shrimp in, and I decided to take a look at their inventory, and they had some of these guys just out, not set up like this or anything, just just out. And on display, they had different sizes. I thought, when I saw this one empty, I was like, wow, this is like a perfect size. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And not only that, it also has a built-in, what kind of filter would you call this? I guess, well, I have a Nubia stuck in there. I guess it would be kind of like a Matin filter, I guess, but not really. So I guess the filter works where water drains through there, falls through, filters through what I put in there, some ceramic rings. In the bottom there's a nice coarse sponge, and then in the bottom again, next to that coarse sponge, is the pump that sucks water in through a pipe and shoots it out right here at a nice current. adds a little bit of flow to the tank, not too much because the beta's over here with no problems. So yeah, so the filter is built in. I like that. It's so easy. I know when it comes to what is it called? When it comes to rimless tanks, sometimes you don't really want to put a hang-on back filter, right? Because it'll take away from the look of the tank. Unless you get a nice mini one, then you might be able to pull it off. But if you get small mini hang-on back filters, they might not do the job that you want them to do. They might not do as good of a job, I guess. So I was also thinking, like, when I get the UNS tank, I'm gonna have to get a little filter for it, which means I'm gonna have to, you know, put it on this side or this side. It was gonna kill the vision on this side or that side, whatever. So I was like, And then the Fluval Spec 3 that I used to have here was good, but it wasn't it was rimless, but not really. It wasn't rimless. And I just fell in love with this one. Let me talk about the compartments back here. So this area where the media is kept is actually glass. This is black glass. I guess it's like stained glass on both sides, so you don't have to worry about it falling apart like plastic pieces or something like that. Like the Fluval Spec 3 and Spec 5, Spec V, I guess, whatever, Spec 5. This area where you filter is plastic, so it's kind of like, it's not as solid. So this one's glass. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's part of the tank, and it's a good idea, honestly. I love that. It makes me feel like I'm buying something that has actual value, you know, actual quality. So I think also people have done pico tanks, like saltwater pico tanks in this. I don't know how you'd be able to figure that out, but I don't like saltwater that much, but I'm sure you can probably get it to work. But they target this towards people who want betas and shrimp like that. It's, at least their packaging, that's what it says on there. So that's the tank. It's 2.75 or something like that. I know it's a little off, but it's because the desk is a little old, but it'll be fine. I just make sure that I have at least this much water in there always. The point of this tank though is to breed new shrimp. I'm gonna try finally again I'm gonna try to breed some harder, more fancier shrimp. And by harder, I mean just having to actually work hard at making them breed. And not even that hard, just having the right parameters, I guess. So I'm gonna try my luck at something like a Taiwan bee, maybe some fancy tigers, something like that. I would have to be careful with getting something that's too dark as far as shrimp, because then you can't really see them in this. I am using Fluval Stratum in here. I think they do a really good job at lowering pH. I would have used UNS, but I don't need to. And the Amazonia, just I couldn't get a hold of at the moment, so I just went with Fluval. I've had good luck with them, so I'm gonna try. Gonna give it another, maybe at least another month of just running before I actually put in any kind of shrimp. So I have a nice setup now. Hopefully I can get some shrimp in here. I'm hoping to get anywhere from 5 to 10. If you've seen my other videos with breeding shrimp, I like to use small tanks. I know a lot of people think that the common knowledge, I guess, the common something that someone tells you when it comes to breeding is that you should get a bigger tank and not a smaller tank, but I honestly don't think that's true. I've had better luck in smaller tanks. Now, I don't encourage anybody to go on and buy a 2.5 or under 3 gallon tank and start doing shrimp. And you still have to get your experience down. I have experience keeping shrimp in other tanks and different sizes. And actually, I like to say I specialize in nano tanks anyway. So I've been successfully breeding fish in small tanks for a while now, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. So one of the main reasons, like I said on my other video, I talk about why I like small tanks, besides the fact that I don't have space for big tanks really, is that it keeps them in closer contact with each other. So basically, you get 10 shrimp in here, they will butt into each other a lot more than if they were in a 20 gallon long, for example. Yes, your chemistry, your water parameters are going to be probably stay more stable in a 20 gallon tank, but I've never had issues with instability in my tanks. Maybe because I follow a good water change routine and stuff like that, and I actually check my water almost every other day to make sure everything's top notch. But anyways, if you have 10 shrimp in this tank, they're gonna butt into each other more, which will allow them to reproduce faster and breed and mate sooner instead of having to look for each other, right? So in a 20-gallon tank, if you have 10 shrimp, it's gonna take you a little longer to breed. Not always, just it can, hypothetically, because there's just more ground for them to cover. The female doesn't seem like she enjoys being mated with. It just happens, kind of. And a lot of times what I've seen with shrimp is as the female is releasing hormones or whatever, the males get pretty aggressive trying to find her. And she almost seems to want to buck them off and leads them on a chase. Now imagine them chasing her through a 20-gallon long or a 20-gallon regular high. It's going to take some time also and some effort, and also there's a lot of plans and stuff. So they might end up just giving up and not trying next time or whatever. Versus if you have them in a small tank, they will find her, they will get her, and they will probably impregnate her a little sooner than if it was a 20-gallon tank. Now, this is all hypothesis, is not confirmed science, but that's just what I've learned. I've tested it out in a few tanks before. My family members have bigger tanks. It takes them longer to get them to breed, but they will get there eventually. It just seems like, for me, since I'm able to control these small ecosystems pretty well with some success, I like to do this since this is my specialty, I guess. I want to try King Kong pandas, black King Kongs, panda variety, I guess. Basically, not the extremes. Actually, I would like the extremes, but with black substrate, I feel like I wouldn't see them. I also want them to look, look nice. My favorite would probably, I mean, if I really could, it would be, if I could really find them, would be Green Hulk, Caridina, like those. It's like a panda, black King Kong panda, but instead of black body, white stripes, it's green body, white stripes. That would be awesome if I could find that. I only seen pictures of them online and stuff like that, and it's from websites that I don't really know if I should trust and stuff, so I haven't really, whatever. I'm not gonna get, I was thinking about blue steels, blue bolts, blue steels, but I kind of have blue dreams, and I know they're completely different, but I want to have something that's not blue. Red bolts is something that I'm considering. Red King Kong shrimp, also considering, although they remind me of the red crystals. So they kind of look too similar to the red crystals to me, but they're not obviously, they're a lot different. But probably more like pintos. I might end up with pintos, and most likely blue pintos or red. One of those two. Galaxies if I can afford them. It just depends on what I can get my hands on. I will be getting my shrimp, most likely from auctions on the Band app. I've seen some people sell a lot, and I'm just gonna go with those people since it seems like people like them. And it might just come down to what auction will be going on at the time when I think my tank is doing good. So I'll be testing this water every week or so. This is brand new water, drinking water. There's no existing bacteria in here besides on my plants that I migrated over here. I migrated enough plants where I think this will be a good start off. I think in about a week or two it'll be fine. I'm gonna keep an eye on the ammonia and nitrites and nitrates for the beta, even though betas don't really seem to care that much, as long as it's not very poisonous and toxic or high levels, but I'll keep an eye on it. This is my desktop tank, so I'll always keep an eye on it. And do appropriate water changes and cycle the tank correctly. So technically I am cycling the tank with the fish in it, but I'm doing it with the caveat that my plants carry enough bacteria in it themselves that it will help. And also I did keep some of the old substrate in my ugly tank that I got rid of and laid it on the bottom of this. Let's talk about the plants really quickly. I didn't have enough of these guys. These are dwarf sag, so I just put 2. I think eventually, if they do well, they'll spread. Probably like 5 months or so. They'll spread. There'll probably be shrimp in the tank before these guys start to spread, but that's fine. On the left over here, no, actually right here in the front is just some Ludwigia repens, just green. And these actually grew, sorry, for about 2 months with no light. just ambient lighting, they're just green and they're fine. This is kind of a weird little side note. That's kind of cool, I guess. Right here is Nicea crassicalis, something like that. Nicea C. Here we have Ludwigia Super Red Mini. Behind it, these two right here are Rotala atra and different species of Anubia. These are kind of older. They've been in different tanks. And there's some petite somewhere. I guess it's floating up there. I'll put the anchor it somehow. And Pinnatifida down here. Now I don't really want wood in here. I didn't really want wood in here because I've had panda shrimp and Caradinas that are shy before, and they tend to hide behind the wood and you'll just never see them, and that's fine. But I'd rather they not hide. I'd rather see them and enjoy them. So at the very least, if they don't breed, I want to be able to enjoy having them, right? So I might actually take out this stump when I have enough plants, and I'm just gonna plant the back. Just, I guess, kind of like Dutch style. I might actually end up doing Dutch style with stems. But I have it in there right now to increase tannins for a while, even though this wood has been in tanks for a while, so I doubt it'll release tannins, but it was releasing tannins in the last tank. After about 2 months, that water was brown, and even with water changes. So I guess it might actually release tannins, so we'll see. So that's the tank for now. I'm excited. Oh, and actually the lighting. Let's talk about the lighting. So the retired Chihiros is back. This light has not let me down so far. It's been doing a great job. I've actually been using it as a supplemental light in my CO2 injected tank. It's been doing awesome. So I figured by itself here, it'd probably do a really good job too. And I think this might be considered medium light at this point. So I have to be careful with lighting. I have it on a 6-hour timer, and I use Tantan wireless LAN timers. They're like smart plugs to control my schedule. Sorry, the contrast keeps getting weird. So that's the tank, guys. LifeGard Aquatics makes this. See if somebody, one of your local fish stores, can get a hold of these guys. These guys are awesome. They don't sponsor me. I wish they did. That'd be awesome. I get another tank like this. I would replace my microbial. If I could get their tank that matches the Cobalt one, I would get it fast. But for now, LifeGard Aquatics looks like they're doing a great job. I love the finish. I love how it looks. It looks spectacular. It looks clean. It looks precise. Only thing I would rather not have is the black background, but I get it. It does make the flowers, the plants pop a little more. I wish it wasn't a black background, but that's fine. I'm fine with it. Completely fine with it. So that's the tank, guys. Like and subscribe if you can. I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully the next time I show this, we'll have a lot more plants at least. And then after that, I'll do another video when I introduce my shrimp. Hopefully I'll get a good deal somewhere and I get some shrimp that I really like. The beta's not gonna stay in here. The beta, I already found a home for. I found a member who wants it. They want to get into fish, so I have them cycling a tank right now, getting it ready. In a month or two, whatever, when I get my shrimp, I'll drive it over to them, and they'll have that ready for them, fully cycled, and ready to go. So, thanks guys. Like, subscribe, like I said, and I'll keep you guys updated.